All right, welcome. My name is Stephanie. So good to see so many of your smiling faces. Thanks for waving at me, Lisa. You're the sweetest. Y'all are so sweet. I love it. So welcome. My name is Stephanie. I'm tuning in from Minnesota. I see that so many of you are saying hello in the chat and letting us know where you're tuning in from. And we are going to record this so that for those of you who invited other people on, guess what? You can share it with them. So tonight somebody invited you here because either maybe you saw a post, maybe they shared something about ketones and they said, hey, do you want to learn about ketones? Maybe you wanted to learn more about our community. Maybe you've been seeing some of your friends go to some events and they look so happy and you're like, what are you doing? So whether you're looking for ketones or an opportunity or to plug into a community, we're going to talk about it all. And you're not just going to hear from me. But a little bit about me. Oh, Cheryl has friends in Minnesota. So at any point in time, we'll try to keep our eye on the chat, but you can always ask questions in the chat. If we get to them, great. If we don't, then when we are done, I'm going to tell you to go back to the person that invited you and ask them all of your questions, but we're going to give you a lot of content right now. So real quick, with a raise of hands, has anybody on here tried the ketogenic diet? All right. So my husband, his name is Steve. Actually, so I am from Minnesota. I'm a homeschool mom. I have 4 girls. We are in the teenage, preteen years. And let me tell you, I am loving it. Some people say that it is a hard couple of years. I'm telling you, I actually love these teenagers. And so my husband tried the keto diet over 10 years ago. I just had our youngest daughter, who is 10 right now. And I remember my husband coming home from work. He wanted to lose 50 pounds. And he said, hey, I'm going to do keto. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't know what that is, but that's awesome. And then he started eating all of this bacon and this butter. And I was eating margarine. And listen, don't tell me that you ever didn't do that, because we all did, right? It was told to us on the commercials. Like, my husband was eating all of this fat food. And I remember thinking, we're not supposed to eat that. We're supposed to eat low fat, no fat, margarine. Anyways, I helped him fail miserably. I tell people I used to make a lot of lasagnas. I'm from Minnesota, so we say hot dish, lots of garlic bread, and I was best friends with Little Debbie. Now, I will tell you, my husband went up and down this roller coaster with this keto diet. And if you know about keto, I need you to understand a little bit. Just listen, I'm a homeschool mom, so I've learned a little bit. I feel like I could understand some science. I'm not a doctor or an expert, but here's how it works. Excuse me, my nose is tickly. So when you do the keto diet and when you do it right, your body hopefully will make ketones, right? So you're really high fat, really low carb. If you do it for a period of time, it could be days to a week, your body hopefully will transition from being a like carb and sugar burner to a fat burner. Now, there are a lot of things that hinder that. Sometimes people's, if they were on medications, if they've been overweight for a certain period, there's just a lot of factors that play into it, and you have to do it for a period of time. And your body will make ketones. So ketones are a fuel source. You feel incredible. They help you with your energy. They're a long sustained energy. They help you with your fat loss. Did you know that the ketogenic diet actually started first for medical reasons? And then they were like, oh my goodness, people are experiencing fat loss. They feel amazing. Ketones are turning on their brain. They were feeling incredible. Now the diet isn't very sustainable. So 8 years ago, this month, my husband was doing a little research about something called exogenous ketones, and he came across a company called Prove It. And they had a packet called, well, now it's called Ketonet. We have evolved over 8 years. They taste great. They look beautiful. Back then we had one flavor and it wasn't amazing, but we drank it because we felt great. Now, my husband said, Steph, I ordered something. And if it works, it's going to change thousands of people's lives. And I remember thinking, first of all, you didn't ask me. Second of all, we don't have the money for that. Third of all, you guys, he was like a supplement junkie and I was not. So I was super skeptical and he tried everything, but he really needed to lose some weight. So he ordered this packet because remember, I was making a lot of garlic bread and hot dish. He ordered this packet and he drank it and he was like, Steph, I feel amazing. And I was like, that's so cool. And he's like, you need to drink one. And I was like, all right. So I took this packet, I put it in a shaker bottle of water, I drank it, I went away to a homeschool conference and I called my husband while I was in the bathroom. I can remember it. Sitting in the bathroom stall, I peed on a little stick. Listen, I get it. It turned purple. And if you understand ketones and you pee on a stick and it turns purple, I was like, babe, I'm in ketosis. I totally don't know what that means, but I feel so great. I'm the only mom that's awake at 3:00. I don't know what they are. Don't give any of them away. That's what I said, because I was a napper. So here's what I want you to know. Somebody invited you onto this call because either number one, maybe they looked at you and they're like, you need some help with your energy. Maybe they heard you say something like, listen, I need to lose some fat. Maybe you're really good friends and they've just been hearing you say things like, I need some energy. I need some focus. I've got some mom brain going on. And they said, oh my goodness, I have something that's going to help you. So I took this packet. I felt amazing. And I'll tell you, over the last 8 years, from drinking ketones to learning how to eat better, I was never strict keto. I have done more low carb. I've dropped the sugars. I've drank more water. I started moving my body. Recently, since December, I've started intermittent fasting, which hands down, I think is the number one tool that we can help you with. But it all started with a packet. You don't have to be keto. This is going to help you with your energy, your focus, your appetite control. You should see my big muscles. My CrossFit coach said today that I was jacked. I know. And listen, I did not start going to the gym until almost 2 years after I drank ketones, which, by the way, as you get older, and I am 40, you should always be wanting more muscle, which is what I've been told. So I was like, thank you. Now, there is a reason why you need these ketones, and I'm not going to be the only one that's blabbering, but I'm going to have two of my very good friends share with you. I want Chris and Dani, and you're going to hear two different perspectives. But for me, I started because I needed energy. My husband needed to lose some fat. Chris and Dani are legitimate athletes. Like, if you think I'm jacked, they're jacked times 10. And they use them for different reasons. And so I'm going to have you hear their story of why they drink ketones, how we can get them into your hands, and then we're going to dive into the community aspect. But Chris and Dani, share with us your guys' story. Why do you love ketones? What have they done for you? Anything you want to share?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, guys.
Okay,
jacked.
cool.
I love that you're jacked.
Yes, Stephanie is jacked. So it's great to see some familiar faces on here and some people that we haven't met yet. These Zooms are awesome. Chris, Dani Webb, we live in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. We came across ketones about 5.5 years ago. My wife saw a video, somebody sharing online. She showed it to me. I thought it was the diet. So I was out. I mean, we just really weren't about diets at this point. At that point in our life, we were really focusing on lifestyle. So when she showed me the video, I was like, diet, I'm out. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, like once you see something, you can't stop seeing it. Like when you buy a new car, right? And then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. That's the way it was on social media. For me, all of a sudden I saw people talking about ketones everywhere. So longer story short, researched it and found out that it was not a diet. They were actually a drink. So I went from out to back in, at least enough to research it. Like we were talking and we're like, let's take a look at this. And we were at this point in our life, we were athletic, or I guess we were athletic at the time. And we were running marathons, trying to get words are hard. In front of a Zoom like this, words are hard. So we were running marathons already. We were working out. Dani was teaching, she was teaching HIIT training, and we were just wanting to level up our athleticism. And so that's what really got us attracted to these. So that was 5.5 years ago. We've been drinking them ever since. For me, what I found is that not only did it help with athletics, the benefits are incredible, but I was the kind of person that would toss and turn for hours at night. So like we would go to bed, Dani would be out, and I would be frustrated. I would have the TV on and I would watch. Anyone know the show The Office? Like I know every word, every episode, every season, like because it was just on, because that was my life. And I figured that was normal, and that was just gonna have to deal with that for the rest of my life. And it wasn't, I don't know, 2-3 days later, I asked Dani, I said, hey, have you noticed I haven't turned the TV on? And of course she didn't notice because she falls right to sleep. But I noticed, and I was like, holy smokes, this is amazing, because not only did that happen, but I was waking up because I was falling asleep. I was waking up and not chasing my snooze button. Like I felt good. I was like, holy crap. this is what people talk about when they talk about good sleep. I didn't know what that was. So for me, being able to fall asleep, being able to wake up fully charged, when you plug your phone in, you look at it in the morning, it's all green. Like that's what I felt in the morning. I was like, this is incredible. So the athletics, yeah, great for exercise. The science is there. But for me, like being able to sleep, waking up, feeling incredible, was really a game changer in the beginning for me. And not to take my whole story and share everything about it, but that was the main thing that kept me going in the beginning. What about you, babe?
So yeah, hey guys, I'm Dani. We often get mixed up. They think I'm Chris and he's Dani, or vice versa. It's funny. Anyways, so yeah, we've been drinking and sharing them for about 5.5 years now. And at the time we owned a training center. So Chris did the fundamentals of Spartan training and I did the endurance part of it. So we, at that time, we were at probably the peak of our athletic performance. I'm not saying we still race now. We just do it like he's 51. He's going to be 52. I'm going to be 50.
She's saying I'm old is what she's
I'm
saying.
going to be 50, you guys. Okay. Seriously. So we're just in another age category now for racing. But it doesn't take away from the miles and the smiles and all the stuff that we do as far as athletics go. So that's what initially drew me to the product. I wanted to run faster. I wanted to finish on the podium instead of right next to the podium. And I wanted to stop using my pre-workout, honestly. So I, followed this girl. I kept seeing her and I Google searched it, had their little video come up. I showed it to my husband and he researched it for about 1.5 months before we even finally found somebody. Like we searched somebody out. I'm sure a lot of you guys on here were maybe reached out to by somebody online. Well, we actually had to find somebody to reach out to. So our story's a little bit different. We actively sought out, he actively sought out. And then we got hooked up with a 10-day experience pack. So a lot of you may come in or are considering, it's a really great way to get just introduced to the product, see if it's a fit for you. So we got a 10-day, we split it 5 and 5. The training center that we had, now mind you, I ran 7 restaurants here in town. That was my 30-year career at the time. So not only did we have a training center, I had 7 restaurants that I went and over 300 employees. So I was a very busy mom of 2. Kids were one of them was still at home. And it's interesting, the first day that I took it, I felt incredible. So I'm the kind of trainer, like I'm not going to tell my class what to do. I had a class anywhere from 12 to 22 people in the morning. We had we call that a monkey gym. It's an OCR training gym. So it was very large, but I work out with them. So if I push, they're going to push harder, right? So if I go up next to them, then they're going to do their burpees. They're going to not kind of go over in the corner and not do burpees. So that's how I train. I didn't take my pre-workout. I trained my first class and I got in the car afterwards before I was going home to take a shower to go to my career. And I looked at Chris and I said, I feel incredible. No, wait. It's the placebo effect. There's no way I can feel this good from some little powder. So I was super skeptical. And day one, I'm like, there's no way. At 5:30 came and I was like, wow, I have really good energy. I never had to message him at 2:30 for something fun with a little mermaid on it and a green straw for energy because I wake up every morning at 3:07, right? Stephanie, your face just went, oh my gosh. And because I taught class at 4:30, right? So I didn't have to message him saying, hey, you want to come visit me upstairs in my office and bring me something fun to drink? I realized it was 5:30 and I had not stopped all day. And I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. If you guys knew my workload, I didn't sit in an office all day. I traveled from restaurant to restaurant, reconciling money, doing bank deposits, doing different everything. And day 2, still super skeptic, tried it again, had an incredible day. And that was when we threw all of our chips in and we were like, okay, that's it. Now that's what we started for. That year I podiumed 3 times in Spartan. My next 3 races, I raced 3 more times. I podiumed next 3 races. And my athleticism went up next level. Now hear me when I say this. My 84-year-old dad drinks ketones and he is not an athlete by any means, right? His 84-year-old mom drinks ketones and she is not an athlete by any means. Our kids were drinking them. They didn't need the fat loss. They liked the energy. My son was running track and field and cross country. He loved the endurance part of it. So it's a get in where you fit in. It's not a one size fits most. It's a one size fits all. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how much you move, how much you don't move. Your lifestyle is your lifestyle. And that's what's so cool about ketones is they don't know any boundaries. So we can drink them as athletes. Our kids can drink them as students. Our parents can drink them as elders. And they're pretty awesome. But the coolest thing that I found was my cognitive function. I had no idea what the benefits of the ketogenic diet were. I am vegan. I've been vegan for going on a decade. So eating keto never interests me because I would basically have to live on nuts, MCT oil, and avocados. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a foodie through and through, and I love food. So doing the ketogenic diet never interested me. I didn't know the benefits that came along with it. But once I started drinking ketones and I got to experience the benefits, I was like, wow. I would drive to the training center at 4:00 in the morning when it's still pitch dark. And I would have my ketones before I left, and I could smell the color of the lights that were coming off of our city. I'm not kidding, you guys. Like, it's not some kind of weird 70s thing, I promise you. Like, but the colors were so vibrant. My cognitive function was insane. So my energy, endurance, all of that was awesome. But what I love the most is that my mood and mindset, they help so much. They help bring it down just a little bit. And then when I want to turn on the fire, when I'm training or doing anything, I can turn it up. So that's my ketone story.
Awesome.
Well, I love both of your guys' stories. I love it. I'm reading the chats and people are sharing different things that they've done along the way. Here's what we want you to know. Just like Chris and Dani, and it helped them whether with their sleep or their cognitive function or their athletic performance or like my husband's fat loss and so much more. I will tell you that these ketones are a tool. They're not a magic pill. Like they don't eat keto. Most people don't, but we want to help you eat better. So when you're done, I want you to get back with the person that invited you. Somebody said, like, what are my options? How affordable is it? You guys, there's so many different ways to get started. Like right now we have something called the Summer Slim Down Challenge. So it involves ketones. It has we've got a 60-hour keto reboot we're doing together at the end of the month. And right now we're going through something called our intermittent fasting kit. I also have 4 dogs, by the way, so please forgive them. But in general, the ketones, so there's different ways you can get started. The Summer Slim Down bundles, like 27% off. Right now until the end of the night, it's not going to be tomorrow, till the end of the night, there's a buy one, get one on certain flavors. So when you're done, go message the person that invited you and you could do the buy one, get one. You might have never tried the flavors, but I promise you all the flavors are great. Or just grab a 5-pack from them. Go, hey, can I get a 5 or a 10 trial pack? That's what Chris and Dani did. They both tried it for 5 days. And the point is that you try the flavors, you give it a shot. You're not going, well, I'm going to not tell you you're going to lose fat in 5 days, but I'm going to tell you you're going to realize the benefits that it can help you with as you continue your journey. So that is the product. Actually, before I'm done with this part of it, I want you to write this down. We have a free app called Prove It TV. PRUVIT, Prove It TV. It's free for you. Go download it and you actually can learn and hear from the doctors and the scientists. And we've had some incredible events called Keto Academy. You can go listen. And I would ask the person that gave you this Zoom link and go, what are some of your favorite videos off the Prove It TV app? Tell them what you're looking for. If it's fat loss, if it's brain fuel, if it's muscle preservation, and they can find you their favorite video so that you can watch them from a scientific doctor's perspective. So get that downloaded. It's free. And here's what I'll also tell you. Oftentimes people start with the product. They love the ketones. Chris and Dani weren't necessarily looking for an opportunity. They wanted big muscles. I mean, they wanted athletic performance. Chris needed to sleep better. Like they just wanted to feel better. And I remember telling my husband, he handed me this packet and I said, all right, I'll try it, but I will not share it with anybody. I'm not interested in doing a business. I've got 4 little girls to take care of. And he said, okay. And that same day, when I was calling my husband from the bathroom stall, I then went to lunch with some of the homeschool moms. And one of the girls was like, hey, what were you drinking? Or you said something about your husband had you trying a supplement. And I said, I don't know. It's ketones. And she goes, I know what those are. And she was explaining to me about her daughter. And she goes, I know how they work if you have an extra packet. And I didn't even think about it because I told my husband not to give them away. And I chucked it across the table because I had a couple in my little backpack. And I said, you should try it. You guys, she was my very first customer and still is today. And I'll tell you this, I wasn't looking for something to do from home, but as a homeschool mom and on a one income family, I found a product that I truly loved. And I fell more in love with it as time went on because I learned the science. I tried the product. It kept me awake. I didn't need to take a nap every day like I did every single day prior to drinking ketones. Like I was a napper. And so I just told my husband, I said, all right, if there is a business tied to this, tell me about it. All right, what does this look like? And what I didn't realize is we actually flew out to California, the very first event, to meet the CEO. And we said, if we're gonna sell this product, if we're gonna offer it to our friends and family, I need to make sure I understand what this company is all about. And the CEO sat down with us and he said, hey, our company, Prove It, is all about making people better, finding their better. Like, what is it? Do you want to be a better mom or better dad or better athlete or a better teacher or a better boss or whatever it is you're looking for? He goes, we want to help people find that. We have a great product. But he also said what we're going to do is we want to have education. We want to bring people together. We want a community. We want support. We want accountability. And that's what we've created in 8 years. So we get to go to events. We get to learn. We get to level up ourselves, and the company pours into us and we can become better people. Not only have we met friends and we've created an incredible community of people, we're learning, we're growing, but I also am able to help provide for my family. So first I wanted some grocery money. And then after that, we have a car program where I was like, listen, I'd love to have a van that's not held together by duct tape and zip ties. And I really did have that. And so gradually, as I learned to share, which by the way, I was not a keto expert. I was not a social media expert. I was a mom that wasn't tired anymore. That to myself, I said, it's selfish of me not to share. And I share lots of things. Like I tell people, you all should be shopping at Costco. It's my favorite store, my favorite movies, my favorite restaurants. And I do the same thing with my favorite products. And this is one of them because it keeps me alert. It keeps me focused. I have incredible friends. I'm a completely different person today than I was 8 years ago. And I also get to help provide for my family. And so as you're thinking, Dani said it. She said, get in where you want to get in where you fit in, right? You might go, I just want to try ketones. You might go, I actually want to help other people, and somewhere in between. I want you to hear Chris and Dani's story. We'll wrap this up at the end, but I want you just to start thinking like, if I love the product and I start sharing it, what would that look like? How much would I want to make? And we would help walk you through that. The person invited you here will help walk you through that. But I want you to hear Chris and Dani's story because it's pretty incredible. Chris and Dani, tell us about your Prove It story. Like, why did you start sharing the product?
Okay, so, well, first of all, I forgot to say earlier, hey, big shout out to our Spanish speaking community. Thanks for being on. Amazing. Thank you for the translation. Marta, appreciate you. So prior to Prove It, I was, and I have to slow down a little bit here because this is actually truly important, you guys. I came into our relationship and Dani, for lack of better words, had her stuff together, okay? I didn't so much. I didn't have, like, career-wise, I didn't really have anything that I was super proud of that was fulfilling for me. So when I came to the table of our relationship, I felt less than as a man. I did. And I don't share it a lot. Maybe I should, but it's just super deep and powerful for me because it moved me. So I actually have always, and it bumped up even more when I met Dani, looked for something that I can do to make money outside of the 9 to 5. Like and to be honest with you guys, I barely graduated high school with a half a credit. I went to college. I majored in registration. It's about as far as it got. But then after that, I really was in like the restaurant industry, tip industry, some sales and commission type stuff, because I couldn't sit somewhere 9 to 5. I just couldn't do that whole corporate thing. And so I struggled my life to, like, hit a home run, if you will. So I was looking for something when we found ketones. I didn't know about anything about the company, nothing like that. We started researching it. And as I was researching it, I realized the name of the company, and I realized that it was a network marketing company. And some people, that turns people off, my age maybe, because of some past experiences with things that used to happen way back in the old days, because I am old.
Hey,
So
energy.
that's right, age is an energy. 51. I'll be 52 in November. So for me, when I saw that, I was actually excited because I didn't really have any bad hangups about it. And I knew that there was some power in leverage. And I knew that there was, it was an industry. This is what I knew before Prove It. I'll get up to, I'll move ahead here really quick. But I knew it was an industry that had no cap and it would pay us as much as we wanted to work it. Now, Dani was full-time career. She was gone 6 days a week, right? I was willing to hustle at something if I could find something. And so found out it was a network marketing company. So that was interesting to me. I was excited. So then I started digging in, and you guys, I don't know if you guys follow our CEO, Brian Underwood, like on social media. You should. Like if you're drinking the product, I would encourage you, any product that you have at home that you use a lot, find their CEO, see if they're on social media, see what kind of person they are. Why not? Right? We follow other people for no reason at all, but this would be a good reason. And he's incredible. He's amazing. He is inspiring. And I was like, wow, this company and this leadership really says something. So I was excited to move forward. Since going all, like Dani said, we pushed all our chips in. She supported, like she was like, whatever you want to do, because she knew me, whatever you want to do, I got your back. So we went all in, meaning that we were going to give this a run. We started sharing our story. People were like, hey, what are those? It was really fun, still is, but it was really fun because people wanted to try ketones. Like, this is amazing. People are having great experiences. This is amazing. Then we went to our first event. And that point, everything changed. I'll let Dani share that part of the story. But since that time, there was something that was really on my heart, is that I wanted to earn the car bonus, because all I ever knew growing up was some Mary Kay funky pink Cadillac car thing. And I was like, is that a real thing? Whatever. Like, not that I wanted that, but I saw that Prove It had something like that. And I was like, ooh, new Tesla, something like that. I'm like, I want to get that for you, right? That's what I wanted to do for her as a man, right? Does that make sense? Like what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to do that. So, but it gave me something to drive for. And guess what? It happened, right? It happened. And we found that the only way to fulfill what we want to do with this business is helping other people succeed. I posted this morning. It is so important that we are in the trenches, meaning that we are doing the stuff every day that we did in the very beginning 5.5 years ago. We don't help people, and no one in this team or on this page here is not doing the things, meaning that someone isn't going to say, hey, you need to do this, and this, and I'm just going to sit here like this and go watch Netflix. Like, it doesn't work, right? So the great thing about that is the current credibility of who you're with on this Zoom is that these people are doing the things every day. So we know what works, what is salesy, what's not salesy, how to be a real person.
Yeah.
Like what Stephanie was talking about. We are not the same people either since Prove It. Our mindset is completely changed because of the growth opportunities that are within our company and the work that we do to grow ourselves. And our business has only grown to the level that we've grown ourselves. And that's what we love sharing with other people. Talk about fulfillment, changing our financial landscape, changing our mental landscape, our relational landscape. It's been amazing.
Oh, I get all the feels.
Thanks, babe.
So picking up on the first event, it was at the end of May in 2018 that we actually, we knew the power of events, and we invested in ourselves. We invested in the company, and we went to Louisville, and it was in the Palace Theater. We walked in, and within the first 5 minutes, a gentleman named Francisco Calero walked up to me, gave me a hug, and started dancing with me. And I don't know if you guys are introverts or extroverts. I'm an introverted extrovert. So I really enjoy my alone time. But when I get out, I'm like a social butterfly, right? So, but I am very introverted, believe it or not. And when I get out, to have somebody that warmly welcomed me, like he didn't know me from Adam. I walked in off the street and he just was like, hey, how's it going? Give me a hug. He wasn't forcing boundaries by any means, and I think he could read my energy, but it was just such a good fit. Like I'm looking around at this room full of like 2,000 people. And I'm like, this is where all the winners that haven't won yet are actually coming. This is where the misfits fit in. This is where everybody has a spot. And then our CEO walked out on the stage and that was it. Within 5 minutes, I looked at my husband. I said, this is my jam. I knew, now backstory, I knew for a couple of years that my career was coming to an end. I knew inside that I had more to offer, that I had more to give than to 311 employees. I also knew that the business that started with one and flourished into seven, the gentleman that I had built these businesses with, like my time with him was expiring. I needed to move on. I just didn't know what my next step was going to be. So when this found us, it was crazy. Like our whole story is crazy, the way it all came to fruition. But when it found us, and we were open to learning and growing, and we were open to, putting down the money on the credit card to go to an event and get there. And then we get invited into this community, excuse me. And I see our CEO, who, by the way, is our age. I see him on stage and he's talking so transparent. And it was almost like a connection. It was, like I said, it was where the winners that hadn't won yet were winning. And everybody fit in. And nobody was turned a blind eye to or turned a hard cheek to. And I just felt so comfortable. I looked at my husband. I said, this is my jam. Like, these are my people. So, excuse me. At that point, I went back to my career. I sat down with my boss, who was probably one of my very best friends. I spent more time with him than I did with my husband. And I said, I'm giving you a 6-month notice. And he was like, I knew it. I knew it. And I said, what? How did you know? And he goes, you've just changed over the last couple of months. I hadn't even been introduced to our community, you guys. The Ketones are awesome. What I came for was awesome. What I stayed for and invested my entire life in was this community. I've never felt more accepted, more allowed to grow. I don't know about you guys, but I was at the top of the top of the top. And I would get the, oh, it must be nice attitude. If I would take 3 days off, I would get the, oh, must be nice to have a vacation. What they didn't see was all of the work that went into me taking an extra 2 days off, because it was my day off with a day period behind and in front of it, right? They didn't see the 80, 90-hour work week so that I can front load everything and leave. But and if I got a new car, I would have to secretly hide it in a lower parking lot so people wouldn't, oh, it must be nice, you're driving a new car. So I felt like I was really, like the lid was put on me because I wasn't allowed to enjoy what I worked my butt off for, right? So I came into this community and, Chris said, oh, I wanted to get the car. And I'm like, I don't want the car. I had an Audi. I loved my car. I had a cute little sports car. Like, I don't want to give up my car. We got it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. But it's not about the things and the accolades and all of that. It's about being allowed to be yourself and not be intimidated or made fun of or talked about or anything like that. Like, I've never been around a bigger community of people that really, truly, genuinely wanted to see my success more than I knew how to visualize my success, because for 30 years, it had been suppressed because I was building somebody else's companies. I loved it. I learned a lot in 30 years. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't have stayed, right? But I can tell you that transitioning 4.5 years ago to doing this full-time with him has been one of the best decisions I've ever made, as far, like, it literally changed the trajectory of my life. So since then, our daughter had her first baby, she got married. I get to spend a couple of days a week with him, like fully submerged in his life. And I know that 5 years ago, I would have never even been able to entertain the thought of spending 8 or 9 hours with him a week. Now I get to do that on a daily basis. And it's something that I get to do on my terms. So being able to travel, being able to experience life, being able to not feel ashamed for certain things that we hit, certain goals that we hit, and we're actually encouraged to keep going and do more. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this community, the Ketones are awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've had crazy, insane, athletic results and cognitive results, and he sleeps like a dad, not a baby, because we all know babies only sleep a couple hours a night. But the community itself, like the community, this is our business. So why I'm so passionate about this is that I think every single person innately is looking for what we have, and it's not just ketones. They want to feel like they make a difference, they matter, and they actually fit in. So that's my heart of heart, like in this, that's why, I mean, ketones are great. They are life-changing, but I'll tell you what, stepping into the community is so much more. It's so much more powerful than a drink. But hear my heart on this. These things are rad.
She loves them. Hey, I want to say one more thing, just real quick. I love it. It's so good. So we get to do this. We plan our days out. We write our days, right? Every day. We don't check into a job. And as Dani said, it's not so much about the things. And I felt the same way. I'm like, what else is there? What else is there? And just recently, met some people and started volunteering for search and rescue and also for lake safety stuff. And so the reason why I say that is because if there's any guys watching this, like, I'm getting to do some really rad stuff that most people would have to go pay for. And because we have the time to do what we want to do, I get to go do it, and it's paid for, if that makes sense. So I hope that kind of helps some of the guys that are watching. I know there's guys sometimes that kind of peek in and go, this is kind of a girl's thing. This is kind of a girl's thing. It ain't a girl's thing. Yeah, I can tell you that right now.
It's a human thing.
It is a human thing. And our relationship has gotten like this, which is incredible. And we get to do both the things in life that we want to be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
As much as we want to do it.
Good stuff.
Thanks for letting us share.
I love it. I love it so much. And listen, I have watched them grow, and between Chris saving lives and being a grandpa, and Dani being a grandma, and they're just loving life and then dominating the podium, I'm telling you, they're pretty great people. So here's what we want you to know. Thank you, Chris and Dani. You guys are amazing, and I love your story. Again, get in where you fit in, right? So you heard about the product. If you've never tried it, grab a 5-pack, grab a 10-pack, like just grab the Summer Slim Down Challenge, get with the person that invited you, get some ketones and try them. If you've been going, oh, I want to do something like that. Hey, I'd love to pay off some debt, take my family on a vacation. I would love to stay home with my kids. I would just love to have a van that's not held together by duct tape, whatever it is for you. Also, tell the person that invited you, and they can share with you all the different ways to get started. You guys, there are so many different ways to earn rewards and get paid. There's bonuses and there's points put to your product, and there's different discounts depending on how long you're on SmartShip. Like, we're not going to go into that, but I'm going to tell you, you can make it. It's so incredible. And it all just has to do with you plugging into the team, utilizing your team, utilizing the product, taking people on the journey with you. You don't have to have your own story, right? You don't want to wait. You take them with you. Like, I take people with me to Costco. I'm taking them with me to the movies. You're going to take people with you. They're going to do it with you. And then you're going to also achieve other goals in your life. So thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. We're going to do more of these so you can invite your friends on. They can pop on, listen to what you're going to start, and they can join your team. So we hope you guys have a great night. Thank you again, Chris and Dani, and we'll see you on the next Zoom. Bye, everybody.